Tell me when you're ready.
Hey Thomas, how are you?
Hey, Jonathan, I'm doing wonderful, man. How you doing?
Doing great, thanks.
Tell you, wasn't that awesome yesterday with Donald Trump at Arlington for the third anniversary, respecting of the 13 fallen soldiers there with their families and other military? Thing was, where was the sitting President Biden or the one who wants to be president, Harris? Where were they? Any sign? I think Biden was actually in California on the beach.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
what's going
think
on? I mean, it's like this is totally disrespect, total disrespect. Your thoughts?
yeah, I mean it was a sad and very sad time for the families and all of America to be reminded of the incident that happened 3 years ago. And yeah, I mean Biden was, I think they said, like you mentioned, on a beach, and I think they mentioned that Harris had an open schedule. So the disrespect to all the families and anyone in the military or just general any Americans, everyone should be outraged because that's not how you want to take care of your own.
Oh, 100%. It's very interesting how things are overlooked. I mean, even the mainstream media didn't even cover this. Okay, I actually saw it on Real America's Voice. That's where I saw it happen. Also, Newsmax had it. Why wouldn't mainstream media cover this? Okay, are they
Well, it's
deciding to fly the Marxist flag as well? You know, before we start really getting into this, I know we had a few comments that didn't make the YouTube end because it was screened, but you got to see them where people were very negative towards us and used curse words. I would suggest if you don't like what we're saying, why don't you try to be a little bit more articulate in your writing? There's a way to curse someone out without actually using the curse words because we want to see those posts. I'm not trying to piss in your Wheaties. I'm really trying to enlighten you. That's what I'm trying to do. If people don't realize where we're heading as a nation by voting, the Democratic Party is no longer the Democratic Party of what it was 10 years ago. All right. It's not that. This is a Marxist party. And if you don't understand it's a Marxist party, I suggest that you actually get the Karl Marx book, The Communist Manifesto, on Amazon. Okay, it costs you about $10. It's about a 96-page read. Please read it. Okay, and really look at it. And if you think that's really a good idea where America should head, then you should actually book a plane and go to a communist nation and live there for the next 5 years. And then you guys do a video and tell me how it was and how did it work out for you. All right, because it's not good. What's happening also in England and other parts of Europe, they're censoring speech. Okay, they're arresting people. The guy from the Telegraph got arrested. I actually happened to call a friend of mine through WhatsApp on Saturday in Hull, and they were watching the soccer game. And he's had a few of his mates over. One of the guys was political, and he said he wanted to introduce him to me because he had told him, about me here in the States. Even though we're on different sides of the ponds, okay, we are in agreement that the people of the world need to take back their nations from these, left wing Marxist governments because they're imprisoning us. That's what they're doing for your words now on social media. The book 1984, they had the Thought Police with George Orwell, a book written in 1948. Okay. But you know what? That's what it's coming down to. If you don't have the right thoughts, they're going to lock you up, which isn't good. Any thoughts on what I'm talking about there, Jonathan?
I think I mean, we're happy that we're getting people, trying to respond to us. We want open dialogue, unlike other people. We want you to tell us your thoughts and why you think certain ways, and then we can respond to it. We can do videos to answer questions that you may have. But yeah, don't curse in the comments or don't say hatred, things of hate, because YouTube is not going to allow you to show the comment. So we want
Mm-hmm.
other people to see what you're saying, and we want to be able to respond to you and help, raise awareness to whatever you think, the issue is. And listen, everyone has their right to an opinion, and we
Mm-hmm.
want the ability to help answer and or just go over it so everyone else can see what we're trying to go over.
Yeah,
And listen,
one
it's
hundred
it's it's
percent.
the part is that you're not wrong for having an opinion, and that's what a lot of the left think, right? You can't have an
Mhm,
opinion; you have to agree to what they want you to think,
mhm.
and we just want open communication, and we'll go over that in a little bit about something that Mark Zuckerberg with
Oh
Facebook
yeah.
and Meta.
Yeah, 100%. Let's stick on the
Yeah.
Afghanistan stuff that, Trump showed his respect, but also what came out, and it actually came out a week and a half ago. The U.S. State Department accidentally gave $239 million to the Taliban um, since the disastrous withdrawal 3 years ago. We've given them 239 million. Now, the reports suggest that not only did the Biden-Harris administration allow the Taliban to regain control of Afghanistan, which resulted in the deaths of 13 U.S. service members and the seizure of military equipment, it has also likely been giving money directly to the radical Islamic groups. I mean, think about that, okay? $230 million that was still giving to the Taliban, these Islamic terrorist group. Now, people may forget because Americans have short-term memories that there was over 7 billion with a $1 billion left in military equipment and weapons in Afghanistan when we left. And who got that? The Afghans, okay? The Taliban.
Oh,
They had a
yeah.
parade 2 weeks ago. You guys can Google it, showing off the military equipment and the aircraft. Now, just to give you a quick list, there was a total of 9,500 air-to-ground missiles that was left, 78 aircraft, 40,000 military vehicles, 300,000 weapons, 1.5 million of specialty ammunition and common small arms ammunition. Nearly all our night vision surveillance equipment and biometric equipment was left, and over 17,500 pieces of explosive electronic military equipment, specialty stuff was left as well too. Think about this. We're arming a whole nation to fight us. That's what we're doing. Just doesn't make sense. And now the $239 million on top of it. I give hats off to Donald Trump. Okay. He took his time to actually go to Arlington National Cemetery and be there with wounded soldiers. There was a young woman in a wheelchair who was a vet, okay, that Trump went side by side. They laid a wreath. There's also was a gentleman there who lost both legs, another gentleman that had lost his arm and leg, and Trump is there with them. Biden should be there. You're the sitting president. You should be the one doing this, showing the respect. There is no respect shown. Anybody who's a vet out there, anybody who's a family member of a vet should understand this. Now, people who say, oh, who cares? You know what? That's a shit ass attitude. That's for sure. If you're going to be that way. Your thoughts on that, Jonathan?
I mean, listen, it's something that Biden directly did, right, with the exit of Afghanistan, and he definitely should be. And even if he didn't want to be, Kara should be. They both should be there. He should be there because he's the president, and she should be there because she wants to be the president. So,
Mhm.
if you want to show respect to all the people that serve, if you want to show respect to the families that lost their lives, I mean, that's probably one of the worst ways of losing your life. You're about to leave and you didn't get it. You didn't actually leave. You died in the mix of leaving. So imagine those people that were so close, the family members, they were so close to being reunited with their family member, and you know they were a couple days too late. It's
Yeah.
terrible. It's terrible.
100%. I gotta say, you know what? When I grew up on Long Island, the National Cemetery in Pine Lawn, which was in Farmingdale, wasn't far from my house. Maybe about a 10 to 12 minute drive. But just to walk amongst those stones and to look at the names and the way those stones are set up in every single national cemetery is such a magnificent design honoring these soldiers where they stand. No matter how you look, they're all in a line. These how the troops are, and this is how they lay them to rest. I've been to Arlington quite a few times, especially when I used to work in Washington. I enjoyed going there just to walk the grounds. Okay. But it's such an honor to know that these troops fought for the freedom of America and what it really meant, the liberty and the Constitution. And unfortunately, you know, too many people, especially young people, don't understand that. And, you got to know your history. And you know what? You have to honor the dead because you wouldn't have the lives you have today if it wasn't for these people that set before us over the last 200 plus years that laid their lives on the ground. One thing I'd like to move into next that was news, actually, Governor Abbott of Texas, if you want to pull that one up, Jonathan, he actually did the removal of 1.1 million people from the voter rolls, which included people who have moved out of state, are deceased, or aren't even American citizens. Now, just to give it a quick clarification, there were over 500,000 people still on the voter rolls who have been deceased. Okay. So now that's been cleaned. But the other 600,000 of people who aren't citizens and, moved out of state and a couple other categories. But this is Texas. Okay. They're cleaning it up. But what other states? Is Illinois cleaning theirs up? Is California cleaning theirs up? Is New York cleaning theirs up? New Jersey, okay? Yes, I'm naming the blue states because they're not going to clean it up, okay? They're going to use those dead people in voter rolls, all right, and
you see
allow
it
them
here.
to vote.
If you
Yep.
can see it here, 6,500
Okay.
non-citizens,
All right.
6,000. It's all right here. So
They already broke it down. Yeah.
They broke it down like 400. Look at this one. What was the one with 457,000 dead people?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you can't make it
up. No, you can't. I mean, this is what's happening there. Again, I'm trying to enlighten people out there, even if you're on the, being a Democrat. And here's the thing. If you're an old school Democrat, and we can look at the Constitution and actually take our conversations to that point, I have no issues. But if you're not going to use the Constitution as our, where we sit at the table and have discussions, then we can't go anywhere. All right. If you believe in stacking the courts and, just paying off everybody's debt, we can't have a conversation because that's not realistic. All right. The dollar's lost a lot of value, and this is money that you're making and it's losing value. And maybe you don't understand how money really works. Okay. But, we have to come to a middle ground and understand one another and actually build this country from within and build it up. That's what we have to do. We can't be giving it away, leaving foreigners into this country and giving them everything, because that's not fair to the people who are citizens in this country. It's just not going to work that way. But like I was saying before, are these blue states cleaning up their voter rolls? We know they're not. It's not happening. Okay. So they should. I think it should be, there should be an independent federal appointed group that comes in, a neutral group made up of Republicans and Democrats, independents and conservatives that come in to every state and clean it up. That's what has to be done. Okay. Again, I mentioned that should be Democrats, Republicans, independent conservatives, all one group together, focusing on cleaning everything up. All right. So I'm not trying to side with anybody. I'm trying to make a nice common team of everybody involved to make this happen. Let's go to the latest news that came out late yesterday with Mark Zuckerberg.
Yep.
If you can pull that one up. All right. This is very interesting. Mark Zuckerberg says that Meta was pressured. We were pressured by the Biden administration to censor COVID-related content in 2021. He was pressured. Now, when you hear the word pressured, what are you interpreting, Jonathan?
He's getting, messages, feedback from the Harris, Biden-Harris administration that don't show this, or this shouldn't be shown, or I think they were even saying like they were, he shouldn't even show like things that were making fun of it or jokes. So they were suppressing, any information about COVID because they didn't want people to talk about it. They didn't want a big stir up of what's going on and what you should or shouldn't do. And now now he's upset he did that. Hindsight's 2020, right? He's thinking that he shouldn't have done that, but it wasn't just Facebook, it was Twitter too, right? Remember Twitter? There were a lot of things that
Yeah,
you know
correct, 100%.
Twitter's in, Meta, was with Zuckerberg, and now Twitter's under Elon Musk, so he cleaned that up. But
Mhm.
you know, it's you again. I keep saying it, you really can't make it up. And again, it doesn't matter you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever it may be. We should all want free flow of information, right?
Yeah.
Don't we all want to know what's going on?
We don't want censorship. Okay. What's the First Amendment? Freedom of speech. Okay. Everybody should be allowed to get their own opinion. Okay. Like you had mentioned, we want people to voice their opinions at us, even if you don't like what we're saying. And I welcome that. I will embrace, if you're negative towards us, I will embrace it. And hopefully you continue watching. You're going to learn. Just be open to what we're trying to discuss. If you understand the history of, Joseph Stalin, of Mao of China, of Adolf Hitler, if you understand these people, okay, and the way they pushed the government in a different direction to basically fence the people in and to push their narrative, then you can understand the history, because that's what's trying to be done here. And if it occurs here, you can stick a fork in this nation as you know it. It will be done. And who's controlling everything? It's the elitists of the elite. And when you pull back the onion, who actually, owns a lot of these corporations? Now, actually, I had a conversation with somebody yesterday evening in regards to Amazon. They said Jeff Bezos, he's the richest guy, man, where he just owns all of Amazon. Matter of fact, Jeff Bezos owns less than 10% of Amazon, less than 10%. The three companies that own the majority of Amazon is BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. Actually, Vanguard's the top stockholder. But if you look up and do this on your own, look up BlackRock, look up Vanguard, look up State Street. They're all intertwined. It's funny that three separate equity companies, but those three companies all own each other as one big company because of who the elitists are behind them. Going back when the bailout, well, I shouldn't say bailout, when they did the stimulus money for the landlords during COVID, the majority of that money went to the big equity companies like the BlackRocks, the Vanguards, the State Street, who own, rental properties. They got the majority of it. And what they did was they actually took out equity loans on the houses that they own and got about 2% on it, then took all that money plus the stimulus money and bought more houses. They're going to own over 40% of the houses very shortly in America. Okay. It's very close to that number already. They're looking to own as much as possible. And it goes back to Klaus Schwab in the World Economic Forum when he came out with his book 4 years ago, COVID-19, the Great Reset. You'll own nothing and be happy. If you notice, insurance prices, car insurance is going up. By the way, did you have a rate hike there in New York, Jonathan,
Yeah,
for your auto insurance? Okay.
yeah.
A friend of mine came down to visit me last week. He told me his auto insurance, okay, is $280 a month. $280 a month they're charging him. He's like, this is crazy. He actually got quoted here in the Carolinas where it's actually going to cost him less than half of that, okay? So the reason for the auto insurance going up in the metro New York area and a lot of other areas is because of all the unlicensed, uninsured, illegal aliens driving on the roads. You're paying for them. You are paying for them. Meanwhile, people on the left are supporting them coming into the country. Well, you know what? You're paying for their mistakes of getting into accidents and stuff like that, because the insurance company is going to make sure they're going to make money no matter what. The insurance rates, insurance rates have doubled over the last 3 years. Is that fair to say, Jonathan? Car insurance?
Yeah, it's not just car insurance. I mean, every insurance is going up. Homeowners insurance,
That I do know as well too. Yes, that is
But yeah,
true.
you're right with the car.
Yeah,
With the cars.
it's insane what's going on. When I was up in New York, my car insurance, and I left just under 4 years ago, was just under $1,000. I think it was paying like $980, 85 or 87 for the year. Okay, and now I'm sure it would be over $2,000 or more.
No, before COVID, I was paying like I think it was $105 a month per car,
Okay,
about that per
gotcha.
car. So it's pretty close, 1,200. Now
Yeah,
it's, with two cars, it's four times that.
gotcha. I gotcha. It's crazy. Well, listen, you know what? You have any closing remarks, Jonathan?
Listen, just keep the comments coming. Let's see what everyone has to say. Let's,
Mhm,
go over it in a rational, professional manner. You
mhm.
don't have to, you don't have to agree with everything, but we should all have that ability to talk to one another and go over the topics that you want to talk about.
100%. Well, listen, we appreciate you listening. If you subscribed, that's great. If you haven't, please subscribe. Please share this with other people. We ask you to hit that thumbs up, and you guys have a great week. Take care. Bye bye.
Everyone, bye.